For a guy who has not said that he's playing his final season with the Pittsburgh Steelers, last night did look and feel an awful lot like Ben Roethlisberger's final game in Pittsburgh. Like, I'm not too sure I've seen too many guys get that emotional at the end of a game that was not their final game in front of their home fans. You know, a little unusual to be taking a partial victory lap if that was not the end. All right, so hearing that and then seeing him tear up on the field at the end of the game, I think I'm just going to go ahead and call that his final game in Pittsburgh. I mean, it sure feels like we can go ahead and stop using words like likely, potential, possible when talking about whether or not that was Ben's final game there. Like, it would be pretty weird to go through all of that and then come back next fall and be like, hey, yo, it's me. Remember all that thank you, Ben stuff? Yeah, well, let's run it back. And if the guy was going to go out last night, he was going to go out throwing a lot. 46 pass attempts. It's a hell of a way to go out, right? You want to talk about going down, guns blazing. Airing it out nearly 50 times. Although airing it out might be a bit of a stretch. Like, there was a stretch where he threw 30 passes in 41 plays. I would say, damn, that's putting a strain on his arm and his shoulder. But the fact of the matter is, his longest pass of the game was 13 yards. He was averaging 2.7 yards per pass attempt, which is the lowest of his career. Now, what I'm not here to do is mock him or clown him for that. It's fine. In fact, it's better than fine. I'll tell you why. It's better than fine because it tells you it is time. So not only did Ben's emotions last night feel like it was proof that that was his last night in Pittsburgh, his play last night felt like it was confirmation that that should be his last night in Pittsburgh. And again, I'm coming from a positive place. When I say that, I mean this guy has given it everything he has, and now he's done. I mean that in the best possible way. Like, he left everything out there. This guy's taken so many hits, thrown so many passes. He's asked everything he could ask and gotten everything he could out of his body. And last night was proof that he's gotten everything out of it that he could. And he goes out a winner. So, I'm not going to crack him for any of that, nor am I going to crack him for getting emotional or blubbering up after the game. I mean, good for him. Everybody should be so lucky to have a career where they play 18 years with the same team, win a couple of Super Bowls, have a bunch of iconic moments, and then go out with a win in their final home game. I mean, very few guys get to do that. Almost nobody gets to do that, so that is the dream scenario. You know, in terms of the way he did it and him chucking the ball around, well, dinking the ball around, it's like the Browns kept daring him to throw it instead of handing it to Najee Harris, who was punishing them on the ground. And Ben kept accepting the dare. Najee Harris put MJ Stewart in the ground. Is there anything funnier or better than a great stiff arm that puts a guy in the ground? Damn near put him to the center of the earth. Man, that's like some jump off your couch and yell, holy bleep, kind of bleep. One of those things where I'm watching it and my wife's like, what's so funny? What's so funny? I'm like, what's so funny? Watch this. She's like, why is that funny? I'm like, oh, it's funny.
Laugh out loud.
It's awesome. Like, you see a play like that, and if you're the Browns defense, you're just begging Ben to throw the ball because Ben throwing the football is better than Najee throwing stiff arms. So as long as Ben is there, at least for one more week, it is Ben's team. However, if you've been watching the Steelers at all lately, you know who the team is about to belong to. Trent Jordan Watt. Exactly how many guys were there on the field last night wearing number 90? It felt like there were about a half a dozen of them. Chicago's Robert Quinn ripped the sack lead from Watt on Sunday by getting to 18 and a half. Actually, 18, half a sack ahead of Watt. So what did Watt do? He ripped it right back repeatedly. He had not one, not two, not three, but 4 sacks last night. And honestly, I don't even think that felt like that did him justice. He's got 21 and a half on the year. It felt like he had 21 and a half last night. This guy was punishing Baker Mayfield. He was treating Baker like the dude who owed him money. And that 4th sack of the night might have been the most brutal. Now Watt is a sack away from Michael Strahan's season sack record. Single season. And yes, I know that Watt is going to get a chance to break that record in the 17th game. But I also know that Watt has only played in 14 games. And I know, like everybody else knows, that Brett Favre gifted that record to Strahan. Record or no record. 17 games, 16 games, 15 games, whatever. This dude is a flat-out game wrecker. An absolute mother bleeper coming off the edge. Now, I'm going to get into what the hell happened to Cleveland last night in a separate take. But let me just throw this out there right now. I don't know, maybe you put a hand in Watt's face. Maybe you try to get a body or 5 or 10 in front of him. Maybe somebody does something to try to stop him because it sure didn't feel like anybody was doing anything at all last night.
Someone call someone.
Like, I'm no Vince Lombardi, but if you've got a rookie offensive tackle making his third career start and you've got him lining up against TJ Watt, maybe you do something about that. Maybe you get that guy a little bit of help. Maybe you never drop back to pass. What you can't keep doing is the same exact thing and hoping it leads to a different result. It is a results business, and the result last night was TJ Watt mugging Baker Mayfield repeatedly. And I know a lot of you want to bury Baker and want to know if I still think that he's America's quarterback or if the Browns are even America's team or if he's even the Browns quarterback, all those things. I will get to all of those things. I mean, for now, the Browns, one of the league's most disappointing teams this year, for sure. They were DOA. But Roethlisberger and the Steelers do live to fight another day. Let's get to the bottom line, right? What's most important about last night's game is it is the end of a glorious, glorious era.